White Walkers face off against Valhalla. I'll be your caster, Uravity, joined by the amazing Mr. Game and Kirby.
Hello and Uravity. I cannot wait for this game. In my opinion, this is looking like the game of the week. White Walkers versus Valhalla, the first place team versus the fourth place team. Both teams looking to maybe make a bit of a playoff run. Definitely a couple of the favorites for possibly winning the whole thing. Obviously right now, White Walkers red hot after losing their first game. They are on a winning streak. I think they've won 7 straight games now.
Yeah.
Valhalla have been a little up and down overall, but they did get the win last week over a Diving Phoenix team that has been improving. So they proved last week that they can still play.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch this match. Both these teams, like you said, currently on the up. White Walkers seemingly back to their previous season selves, where they're extremely dominant force, but Valhalla have shown glimpses of power throughout the season. I wouldn't be surprised to see them take an even match to White Walkers.
So would you look at this? Panderp, who has officially finished their 8-game match suspension, is coming back and playing support instead of the signature hit scan, and the return of Charles on the tank.
Indeed, I'm surprised to see both of those. So
yeah,
we're actually going to see a pretty generic dive coming out of Valhalla here. Meanwhile, you'll see the more recent look of Sanctum's Sigma Hog comp that pretty much only gets ran here on the ball. We see Valhalla try to take over this high ground here, but PowerPoint gets just melted by the Sim orbs. They do so much damage. Now Hunter, though, able to find that damage, take it out of the fight, and we see Valhalla decide to dive on the point here. Musketeer trying to take out PowerPoint, not quite able to find the hook on them, and the Discord's on them. PowerPoint able to find that kill, but Pog able to take out Takeover, and that'll be a lot of damage out of the fight from the dive now. Pog now with the kill on the Hunter, the Discords are gone. Valhalla able to take the first cap, but how long are they going to be able to stay here? Charles on point, able to pressure the Mercy off. Beant fell into the pit, able to slide back up out. Pog popping the Tactical Visor here with the damage boost from Mercy, gets 3 kills with it. And it looks like that'll be White Walkers quickly flipping this point. Browdaddy gonna have to just jump into the well here and reset.
And it's unfortunate there for Valhalla because they took out Psycho Zordon on the Sim both times, but it was Pog on those off angles causing so much problems. I don't know what Book of Sorrows was kind of doing in that team fight, but maybe he could have been the one to go after him, and Pog must have been getting good peel as well.
They're doing a really good job of pouring a lot of resources into Pog. They know that that soldier's range damage is going to help them. And we see Browdaddy going after them, but they get discorded and taken out of Mecha immediately. The wall comes out now. Musketeer able to find the pick on the Book of Sorrows, and it looks like White Walkers are going to go on ahead and probably win this team fight. Here, there's the kill on the PowerPoint. Charles does fall here. If Valhalla can... Oh, the res goes through though, so... Looks like White Walkers are gonna end this fight a healthy 6-man, and Valhalla are gonna have to retreat once again. Oh, a hook from Musketeer there. Great DM coming out of Browdaddy, able to save Bian.
We do see Valhalla coming up on 6 ultimates here. This is their chance, and they're gonna initiate with the Valkyrie.
Riptire coming out, finds Musketeer, taking them out of Whole Hog, and now we see the team getting aggressive. Zordon, though, able to take out PowerPoint again. Beant gonna invest the res. Valhalla have already flipped the point. White Walkers acknowledging that they're not gonna win this fight, tracking the ultimates, knowing they don't want to take a fight against 4 more ultimates. Not while they're down 2.
And that was a great, cost-efficient fight there, only using the tire and the Valkyrie.
This is a good combo from Pog and Charles, but a good counter Transcendence. However, this dive didn't stay with it, and they're paying for it. Valhalla have lost 2. Bukasaros pops the Dragon Blade, but now Panda are going to use Transcendence, which effectively nullifies Blade. However, Valhalla still have control of the point. White Walkers have not yet started building their own percentage.
Yeah, Bukasaros here in the backline is kind of causing mischief, is actually
PowerPoint
helping.
got back. killed
Valhalla
Zordon.
turn this around.
Brow Daddy falling weak here, but the supports are slowly coming back. Valhalla, if nothing else, are staggering this out really, really well, finding a lot of percentage on this point where they probably shouldn't have had it. Viant gonna try and Guardian Angel off point, not quite gonna make it happen, but Valhalla able to get themselves another solid, probably 45% on the point there.
Now here's the huge thing coming up for this next fight. If Book of Sorrows can build that Dragon Blade before Panderb can build the Transcendence, that's going to be huge. Valhalla could take that to a map victory, but Book of Sorrows is going to have to get a lot of value in this team fight, as it is pretty much going to be the last one coming up here for Valhalla.
White Walker's playing off the point, definitely what this comp wants to do. They're going to use the wall to go ahead and give themselves the space they need to contest point, and we see the whole hog coming out, a lot of damage. Psycho Zordon able to find two already, and no touch comes out from Valhalla, allowing White Walkers to take this first round of Nepal.
Yeah, that was a great whole hog from Musketeer right there, pushing him off the point, making sure they couldn't touch. I think it was Brow Daddy. He did get the initial touch at about 95%, but you do need to, I think the earliest you can touch to initiate overtime is 97%.
Yes.
So he was just a little bit early there, almost got a good touch. And one thing I mentioned about the win condition for Book of Sorrows there is that Panderb actually did catch up to him building up that Transcendence, so Book of Sorrows would have had to probably add another blade nullified again anyway, so he's going to swap to the Doom.
So we see the Symmetra coming out again. This is another good map for that hero, but Pog with a really early pick on the Hunter. Taking out a support's going to be big here. However, Book of Sorrows answering by taking out even more healing on the side of White Walkers, but now the McCree is going crazy, finding three now. Psycho Zordon with the damage of the Symmetra able to start cleaning up, and Valhalla are going to be sent packing here, and the DPS want more. They're chasing even further in, but it looks like that's going to be about all they can do without their tanks. Valhalla are trying to make something out of this defense here, but it looks like White Walkers are going to back off before they get hooked in.
And yeah, this is the strength of White Walkers here, that two-headed monster and Psycho Zordon and Pog. They just cause so much havoc no matter what heroes they play.
Ooh, that's huge! Musketeer just laid down the entirety of Valhalla there.
Yeah, that was the only ult they needed to use. White Walkers are so good on these control points, staggering their ults to make sure they can get it to at least 99%, and they typically win a lot of these control points 100-0. You can't let White Walkers take the first cap because they almost always snowball it, and now look at this. Both DPS ults online. Ziptail getting very close to that sound barrier.
Valhalla rotating bottom left here. Dealing a decent amount of damage on White Walkers. However, the main tank is Brow Daddy's falling low. Able to get that early pick on the Ziptail. That will be really helpful. And the Immortality Field has been burnt down here. Just no final blows really getting dealt here. Valhalla really split up. PowerPoint all on their own here. And White Walkers are slowly picking them apart. The Scimitar is able to help out a lot there with the isolated targets. Shatter being invested by Musketeer. Only 20% left for White Walkers to capture before this is over.
Yeah, and even a possible win condition for Valhalla here, the Blizzard can easily be counteracted by multiple ults on the side of White Walkers. It's going to be really hard for Valhalla to win this team fight right now.
The preemptive window to make it really hard for anybody to walk up main. However, Takeover is able to touch the point with this Mei, trying to freeze Musketeer, but the Scimitars are doing a lot of work as well as Pog, but now the ultimates are coming out from Valhalla. They're pushing White Walkers off the point, dealing a lot of damage with this whole hog. Musketeer comes back in, gets the slam onto the power point, but the freeze goes through on the Musketeer, not letting him follow up on any of the damage. The Shatter gets blocked from Brow Daddy. Now the Photon Barrier coming out from Psycho Zordon might be able to give White Walkers the edge in this fight. They've gotten the pick on the Brow Daddy, and the Shatter goes through on the power point. Power point falls here as well as Takeover, and Valhalla were looking strong in the beginning of this fight, but White Walkers able to backpedal a little bit and give themselves the strength they need in the late fight to take this map.
And we even saw Valhalla, they forced Ziptail to use the sound barrier early, but they couldn't quite get the follow-up on the Blizzard they were hoping for, and Brow Daddy getting his Shadow Block was kind of the nail in the coffin for that fight, the last chance that they had to turn that truly into their favor. Psycho Zordon building up the Photon Barrier, basically almost making White Walkers invincible for a little bit there. And, I mean, how much praise can you give on to Psycho Zordon this season? He's been just remarkable on, again, every hero they seem to play. They're just a flex god, playing the sim on these control points, playing the Pharah, doing so well, and we've even seen them play some hit scan to a high level. Psycho Zordon, one of the best players in Tier 3 right now.
I would have to agree. White Walkers is just a team built up of a bunch of individual talent that work really well as a team, and that's what makes them such a scary team. But I'm not going to count out Valhalla just yet. They as well have quite a bit of talent in their lineup as well as their bench. So down but not out.
It'll be interesting. I'm kind of wondering if we'll see not PowerPoint come in and play some DPS. He actually has not been playing as much DPS for Valhalla this season, which is kind of weird considering when he does play DPS, I mean, he's still as good as ever, but maybe they've kind of liked what he brings with being able to play Roadhog, tank, he goes to DPS, and then maybe we'll see just Moosh come in to play some support. Kind of the ideal, I think, for Valhalla is not any DX Hunter, not PowerPoint, just Moosh. That's kind of been their core for this whole season.
We are just awaiting the swaps for these teams. White Walkers, both teams have a few swaps over there, so we could see quite a different number of roster change-ups here. And then the next map, should go ahead and load that one up, will be King's Row, for anybody who hasn't been paying attention to the Tier 3 rotation this week. So we will be seeing Charles moving off of the tank line down to the support line, and Reflex will be coming in to take Charles's place on the tank line. And Psycho Zordon, who we were just talking about, will be coming out for Bling. Oh, and Pander will be DPSing this map.
There we go, making that grand return, one of the best DPS in season 4. I think we're ended on this very White Walkers team. So, I mean, we know what they're capable of on hit scan, and Bleem lately been playing that Echo a lot. Kind of another one of the people who can just flex to whatever they want. That's what kind of makes this team so tough, is that pretty much everyone is good on so many different heroes, and they can give you so many different looks. It's hard to counter this White Walkers team without you playing your best as well.
Yeah. I agree 100% with you on that one.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that, you know, we were talking about Psycho Zordon and aka Pog being one of the best DPS duos in Tier 3 and one of the main reasons for White Walker's success. And the fact that now they're on the bench, I'm not even that less confident in White Walkers, just show you how overall good this team is. I mean, you are not downgrading with Bleem and Panda. Maybe a little bit, but at the same time, you're not really. You're still getting two high-quality DPS players.
Still
I mean, you're
absolutely
talking
one
like
of the best duos.
Psycho Zordon and aka Pog both top 5 DPS in Tier 3. You're talking about Panda and Bleem possibly being both top 10. Like, I think most teams would kill to have 2 top 10 DPS in Tier 3, and it's very possible White Walkers literally have 4.
Mm-hmm.
But it does look like Valhalla is going to have not PowerPoint come in to play some DPS, and whenever he's on the field, you got to watch for him, especially here on King's Row. I would not be surprised if he plays his signature Widowmaker. It's going to be an excellent battle between him and Panderp. I can't wait.
Absolutely. I love the PowerPoint Widowmaker and am terrified when playing against it. It'll actually be a fun matchup, though, watching Panderp and PowerPoint duel each other on the hit scan, should they decide to do so.
Yeah, that's what I would expect here. Maybe we'll see Valhalla with Ravioli Stain coming in. They'll play a somber comp with maybe some spam with not PowerPoint on the Junkrat or the Hanzo, maybe. But I'd like to think that right off the bat, not PowerPoint is probably going to start on some form of hit scan.
Mm-hmm. Alright, we've got readies on both sides, so let us go. We will see White Walkers defending first on King's Row, with Valhalla attacking first.
Yep, and this is the chance for Valhalla to get back into this series, and they can take point A right off the bat with a strong start from not PowerPoint and Ravioli Stain. We're two great DPS players. I completely forgot about Ravioli Stain. She's also been kind of one of the core members of this team, as well as Antpo. If they can get off to a good start here and capture point A quickly, they can easily get the momentum going in their favor here, but it is always tough to crack a White Walker's defense.
Very true. King's Row is one of the maps, though, where if you're going to get like a point A snowball, it's really kind of 50-50 on this hybrid map compared to other maps. Like, if you attack it the right way, if you catch the enemy team off guard, it's really rough for them to kind of rotate and adjust to whatever it is you threw at them.
I'm intrigued to see Panderp here on the Reaper, actually, and Bleem gonna be the one playing the lone hit scan here. Ravioli Stain will have to deal with a hit scan, luckily not one of the really true counters like a Soldier or a Ashe, but still we'll see.
We see Panderp actually waiting on PowerPoint here on top of the hotel, or theater, sorry, and able to get the finishing blow on them immediately. Great foresight from Panderp to know that there was going to be a sniper specifically there, and White Walkers are going to get really aggro with that, using their own immortality field to kind of sit in this choke and dish out a lot of damage. Not able to find a finishing blow, but that does build a little bit of ultimate for their main tank and their supports.
Yeah, I was about to call that out from Panderp too. Yeah, he definitely did his research there. Knows not PowerPoint loves to set up there on King's Row. Ooh, not PowerPoint already. Not having a fun day so far.
Every time they lose PowerPoint, White Walkers just get in there as much as they can and force Valhalla straight back to the spawn area. It's been a risky game, though. Musketeer, I was going to say, hasn't gotten away with this for free, and now the window's going to be popped. White Walkers might have overstepped on this one. Now they've got the fire in their backline and no shield to protect them from it. PowerPoint able to get the finishing blow on the Bleem here. Panderp in the backline finds B-Ant, but I don't know if it's going to be enough here in the 1v5, and Valhalla able to take advantage of the overstep from Musketeer, and looks like they're going to crack open point A here.
One of the things sometimes about winning early fights like that, but not getting a lot of the picks like we kind of saw there. Because White Walkers were basically only winning that fight by taking out not PowerPoint. We saw BN just able to build an amplification matrix super fast, and I don't think White Walkers were ready for that.
PowerPoint falls early here. The amplification matrix seems to have been used more or less to scare Valhalla off. And now we see they're going to have PowerPoint back really soon. Graviton Surge being invested here on the side of White Walkers. Immortality Field and B coming out. Musketeer lands the Shatter. High Noon being invested as well. Bling gets a pick with it. And White Walkers are just going to roll over with the combination of the Shatter and the Deadeye. Looks like that'll be another fight going White Walkers' way. But 4 minutes left for Valhalla to come back.
And I kind of wish Valhalla, specifically Beant and DeKipper, had communicated there. Beant had the Immortality Field for the Graviton Surge. They were fine. And if DeKipper had maybe saved it for Panderp's Death Blossom here, that'd be huge. They'd actually probably be favored in the fight with the Graviton Surge and Barrage combo they've got coming up.
Valhalla able to break through here, using the Graviton Surge here. Good bubble to save their Pharah for a little bit. PowerPoint possibly saving this fight here, finding 3 picks all of their own. But now White Walkers are rushing Valhalla's backline while Valhalla rushes White Walkers' backline. They've both turned around for each other now. Azaria Lucio versus Zarya McCree. Who's gonna win it here? Reflex trying to back out now. Charles trying to help them out, using the boop. But a nice wall traps Charles in. They're gonna get that stagger pick, and PowerPoint finds a Reflex from downtown. Valhalla getting some really nice stagger picks there.
And I love the swap from Ravioli saying onto the Mei. We'll put more pressure on that Reaper. Panderp, we'll see if they... Now would maybe be a good time after this next fight to maybe go for one of those long-range hit scans they're so known for. They could get a lot of value here.
We see the wall already come out here, traps Musketeer a little bit, but the Shatter comes out again! Musketeer getting so many large Shatters tonight, and the DPS of White Walkers are just gonna feast on this one just like the last two. White Walkers are just going forward as fast as they can, gonna try and get the stagger on the PowerPoint. They're gonna find it. That's a good bounce back with the cart being where it was. However, Valhalla, because they got that fast day take, still have plenty of time to get their heads together and get B finished off.
And that's one of White Walker's strengths right there, is initiating team fights so quickly that you don't know how to respond. They're so good at that. And that is
Immortality Field used, counter Shatter comes out, then a really good flashbang preventing push on the side of Valhalla. Bleem just forcing the team back with this Deadeye. Graviton Surge gets invested, but they're all inside, unfortunately. And Bleem coming up big here on the McCree. Valhalla with a huge blizzard, but the damage isn't there anymore. No DPS on their team to follow it up. It looks like the White Walkers are going to force Valhalla out of this fight as well. I'm not sure Hunter wants to live anymore. At this point, they're staggering there on Reinhardt.
And I was just about to say that White Walkers actually made an uncharacteristic mistake and used a lot more ults than they probably should have, and I thought that all Valhalla needed to do was disengage and come back with a huge ult advantage, but they use the Blizzard and the Graviton Surge and the High Noon and get absolutely no value. That's a really unfortunate chance. That
PowerPoint does swap to Junkrat. Oh, that's rough. And another Shatter comes out, finding 2 on top of Panderp's Blossom. That's going to be another wrapped up team fight here. And now White Walkers went from having a 4-minute hold on streaks to less than a minute. Only about 2 clean team fights left in the bank for Valhalla.
And the ultimate situation for Valhalla is not looking good. Only the sound barrier, whereas Bleem and Prawn Goblin have their ultimates ready. This is going to be tough.
Window pops from up top. Deadeye going to be paired with it. No kills come out though. That's the best case scenario for Valhalla. The tanks are cut off. Kipper uses the beat, finds all 6 members of the team, and now Valhalla are getting really aggressive. Maybe a tad late with the barrier, but they're able to find Reflex and an aggressive pin from Musketeer. Able to find the pick on the Hunter, but that's it. It cost them their own life, and a nice wall. Able to finish off the kill on Pander. Valhalla now have to round these next 2 corners. will White Walkers be able to contest? I think they'll at least have a chance to get a stagger contest going if they want it.
And that was the best case scenario there for Valhalla. Great job from DeKipper to make sure the team was sped out and away from the sightlines of the amplification matrix. And
White Walkers are going to try and touch this, and the Shatter comes out! It's huge! It finds half the team! Riptire coming out for PowerPoint, not able to find a kill, and Musketeer's Shatter gets mostly blocked. However, the one thing he gets does die, and now White Walkers are cleaning up this fight. Valhalla are falling apart slowly. The Graviton Surge invested just to kill B, and White Walkers will hold just before Valhalla take B.
Oof, that is a heartbreaker there for Valhalla. Good chance to take point B. Now PowerPoint's tire, not able to find anything. A great sound barrier from Charles to prolong that tire from being detonated, and Musketeer was able to take it out. So now here we go. Typically, most teams are able to capture point B. This is going to be a tricky ask for Valhalla to be able to defend point A and point B. The best case scenario maybe is they get the full hold.
It's very rough to actually hold on Kings Row Streets phase. It's never been a really friendly part of the map to be at as a defender. So on Kings Row, generally, if you don't get the cart to C, you're kind of hoping you full hold. Looks like Valhalla are going to opt for a lot of CQC specialty here with the May and the Torbjorn. I would assume the Torbjorn's been brought out just in case a Pharah comes into play with the turret, just for a little bit of counterplay. But White Walkers are playing Mystery Heroes in spawn, just swinging around, having a good time. So we'll figure out.
Love to see Panderp on the Widow here, though. It'd be, you basically have no immediate counters on the side of Valhalla, so Panderp could get a lot of value here.
Hunter a little far forward. The team groups up on them though, so it's all good. The wall comes out early, not quite getting a clean cutoff here. White Walkers quickly but slowly at the same time pushing their way into Valhalla, forcing resources out of them just by their aggression. A good wall this time comes out. Slight hole lets Musketeer get out to the healers. Lots of utility gone. And Panderp with the final blow in the Ravioli Stain. So much utility is lost with that pick. White Walker, Brow Daddy though, able to find a pick on the Charles. Hunter goes in deep on the pin with Musketeer. Able to find their way out for the most part, but gets pinned back. Hunter gets taken down. Musketeer though pays for the pin themselves. It's pretty back and forth, but White Walkers seem to have the advantage so far. It looks like B-Ant's going to try and get out, but the Flash Fan the Hammer from Bleem is going to take them out of the fight, and Valhalla now tasked with a really tall order on Streets phase if they want to hold King's Row.
Yeah, and losing Ravioli Stain earlier there is not what you want to see. The walls are actually maybe something that can help with the Widowmaker, walling the Widowmaker off. Not the most ideal usage, but certainly an option, and Panderp repositioning themselves with a great headshot on Ravioli Stain.
Deadeye coming out from Bleem here. Ooh, speed boosted around the corner. A double shatter comes through, and actually both of those connect. PowerPoint able to clean up on it. It looks like this might be good for Valhalla so far. Brow Daddy getting the cleanup, basically a DPS on this Zarya with the high charge. PowerPoint helping out as well, able to get the pick on their counterpart. And it looks like that'll be Valhalla holding so long as they don't get too aggressive here. They're down one, their main, or two actually. They're down their main tank and their secondary source of healing.
Well, sadly, Panderp is going to swap to the Ashe here, so we won't get the Widow v Widow between him and not PowerPoint, but a hit scan battle nonetheless. It'll be interesting. Not PowerPoint on their signature hero. Can they get the hero hold here for Valhalla?
Blizzard comes out. That'll probably be the key to them not getting any value out of that grab. The picks are mostly going in favor of Valhalla so far. Bleem in the backline here trying to get the pick on the B-Ant. It was called out, but they weren't able to turn around. White Walkers might have just split up Valhalla enough to give themselves an opening in this next team fight.
Yeah,
Bleem's in trouble now. They know Bleem's there. Oh, huge bubble goes on to Bleem though. Can Bleem get out? Bleem getting out here is huge. Bleem's gonna get out. Brow Daddy might actually be the one in trouble now. pin goes through, but it gets bubbled. PowerPoint with a really early pick on the Bleem is super helpful. Immortality field into this grab is going to keep White Walkers alive. Charles with the beat, keeping the team healthy now. And another huge shatter from Musketeer, able to clean up this fight on streets. And now Valhalla's the one that's going to have to come in and do the same hold White Walkers did to them.
Yeah, and I don't even know if they're gonna get a clean touch. Look at this Musketeer and Reflex doing the right thing, going aggressive, trying to find these picks as they come in. Make sure BX Hunter is uncomfortable on the retest.
Hunter's got to charge in if he wants his touch. Genji's going to switch strike again. PowerPoint able to get that touch at the last second. Bleem with the Deadeye doesn't come up with any final blows, but the damage was certainly done. And a shatter comes through on the side of BX Hunter. The picks are going back and forth so far. They favor White Walkers. But White Walkers are missing their main tank right now, so it's a little hard for them to stay forward. Reflex trying to make up for it with the damage. Bob thrown into the backline. Now they're in trouble and nobody's left to touch on Cart. And White Walkers will take King's Row as well.
Yeah, just great hit scan play from both Bleem and Pander. They're finding the picks that they needed. That's exactly what you want from your hit scan players when you might be in a 5v5 scenario or even down one. If you can have your DPS in the backline, even that fight out for you, it just makes your life, as all the other players on the team, so much easier. And I mean, what can we say about
nice and easy.
These DPS on White Walkers? They've just been stealing the show.
Bleem was absolutely incredible this map. Just like really good flashbangs, preventing a lot of like aggression from the side of Valhalla. Basically kept BX Hunter in check just with the flashbangs alone, and getting a lot of finishing blows, dealing a lot of damage follow up on the like earth shatters and such. But just a lot of quality work put in by Bleem that map. PowerPoint also though did a lot for Valhalla. Like even though Valhalla doesn't take that map, PowerPoint definitely did a lot of follow-up work of their own. Like there was plenty of times where Brow Daddy and PowerPoint were like just a duo powerhouse team that were plowing through like either remnants or making openings for Valhalla to have good chances to win team fights.
Yeah, and you know, you never know how that map would have gone if Valhalla had been able to capture point B there. They were like less than a meter away, and Ravioli Stain obviously got taken out, wasn't able to use Blizzard. If they could have survived and used Blizzard there to close that out, maybe the payload could have gotten near the end of point C, and well, the White Walkers, I mean, they still had a decent amount of time left in their time bank when they won the map there, but still it would have been a tricky task to maybe make it a little bit through point C, you know, like single fights for Valhalla, I think, on that map that kind of were the difference makers, mainly that last fight on their attack, and then the fight where Bleem went into the backline and got 2 picks and was able to get away.
That was crazy. I watched that happen. I cannot believe Bleem got away with that. That was a fantastic, like, probably at the very least, like, gave them the opportunity to get the push that they got to win that map. Like that bubble from, I believe it was who? Reflex was Reflex the tank there?
Yes, Reflex was playing
bubble from Reflex.
The Zarya
was you could argue like map winning because not losing Bleem there allowed them to actually take that fight, which let them go on to win the map.
And that's kind of interesting for the White Walkers here. You know, we've typically seen Richard being the standout tank this season. It appears that he will not be able to make this game. And Musketeer has actually been playing a lot of off-tank. They started off this season playing a lot of main tank, but has swapped to playing more Zarya as of late. But now coming back on to play some main tank, you know, he can play both at an incredibly high level.
And we'll be seeing 3 swaps on the side of White Walkers here. We will have Ziptail coming in for Charles. Psycho Zordon coming in on behalf of Bleem. And Pog coming in on behalf of Musketeer. Get the AKA tank duo.
Yeah, and I don't know if we've seen Pog a whole lot on tank, so we'll have to see what he wants to do here. I think he has played a little bit of support this season, but yeah, mainly known for playing a lot of hit scan DPS, so we'll have to see. Maybe they'll. I mean, Reflex was probably going to play the Zarya, so it'd be kind of weird to see him play Zarya. I'm very interested to see what Reflex and Pog play here.
I as well, honestly. I don't know if I've seen this tank duo out of them ever. So I'm very excited to see what this brings, what kind of comps we'll see. Psycho Zordon in, you can get crazy with like the Pharah and Panderp on some sort of like Ashe or something. Like there's so much potential in this lineup that they've got in right now. Especially with the map we're going to being Volskaya, a map that's really kind of like multi-comp friendly.
Yeah, and we'll have to see. Valhalla does not look like they have submitted their lineup yet. I do think that that their lineup right now is pretty good. Maybe we could see Antpo come in for Ravioli Stain possibly to get maybe more of a Tracer and a Junkrat kind of in there, and PowerPoint can kind of stay on that hit scan. I think that could help here on Volskaya Industries, but at the same time, maybe a Sombra would be helpful for Valhalla here. Ravioli Stain has not shown that Sombra yet tonight. We'll have to see if they do stay on Volskaya. That might be a way that they can get back in the game. The only problem is that the White Walkers can also run Sombra, at least with Bleem, if he were to come back in for map 4. I'm not 100% sure if Psycho Zordon or Pander play those, but
and will be coming in on the DPS line for Ravioli Sting. And we will see, I believe this to be Moosh's first map of the series? Question mark?
I believe so. Yes, because it was BX Hunter and Bant, I think, for the
that is correct
for Nepal there.
This is match point. So if Valhalla are gonna start turning things around, it's gotta be here. Volskaya is not a bad 2CP map to sort of make that happen on. Anubis is probably the hardest like 2CP map that's in rotation to kind of work with. Like that map is infamous for draws and just really hard to win in general. Really hard to lose. And Hanamura is who can actually like finish off a fight on B. Volskaya is probably the friendliest 2CP to work with.
And it's unfortunate for Valhalla them not being on the attack first, because Volskaya Industries definitely probably the most attack-oriented 2CP map in the rotation right now. If we're talking total, it might be Horizon, but Volskaya very known for snowballing point B and getting massive time banks. Unfortunate that they couldn't start on the attack here, set the tone with a really quick attack. Granted, on the defense, you certainly can see the full hold occasionally on point A, so maybe they can set the tone that way with a really strong defense.
That would definitely be a really strong message for their turnaround if they can get a full hold here. Definitely shake White Walkers just a little bit. Not too much probably. That's a very, very resilient team over there, but it sends a message that they know they're down, but they're definitely still gonna fight really hard for it. We are just waiting on a ready from one team right now. And we have got that ready, so we go again.
Traveling to Volskaya Industries.
We did see a reverse sweep just yesterday. Your team, Stardust Crusaders, got that reverse sweep over Cosmic Omnics, so perhaps we will see another one 2 days in a row. Valhalla certainly have the upside to be one of the best teams in the league. They just kind of need to put it together, honestly. Obviously, White Walkers, no easy task for anyone, but if you want to be up there with the best, you do have to compete with the best.
Definitely. I don't think Valhalla have looked like particularly like they can't compete with White Walkers this series either. Like just a few small slip-ups here and there, what's costing them. It just, White Walkers play at a level of aggression that it seems like Valhalla are struggling to handle, but there are some moments where they throw that same aggression back at White Walkers and they look like they could take like a lot of fights off of them that way.
Yeah, you could have argued that that Valhalla should have won on Sanctum there on Nepal, and we would have gone to a tiebreaker map, and who knows where that would have gone. And even on King's Row there were a couple fights that if they had gone their way, Valhalla could have easily have taken that map as well. So it's, yeah, it's not like it's been a completely one-sided affair, but...
We have the ball from Pog. We're gonna see. I was kind of wondering if we'd see a double off tank comp out of these two. Well, I guess Ball is a main tank, but I would assume their Ball is going to play very much away from the team here this time. So far, Pog having to collect a lot of health packs to get their health back.
Yeah, I mean, this is
This
already
is just going to be a chaos comp out of White Walkers, and an early hook on the power point going to help this attack open up really early, but a nice res from Moosh and a good shield from Hunter to protect it. Brow Daddy gets hooked, able to stay topped off though. Pog slamming into the team, Antipo with this May. PowerPoint was able to stun the ball, but now both the DPS are gone for Valhalla. This Chaos comp is making it really hard for the sort of brawl comp that Valhalla wanted to play to exist. White Walker's just all over the point taking... I'm pretty sure there's about 4 different fights happening at one time right now. Hunter able to get a pin on the Pog, just stalling out time here. Gonna have to get a long hold on B, but B plays out very differently than A usually does, so Valhalla have a chance to recover and get their feet on the ground again.
It's unfortunate there for Valhalla, because they had a team comp to stop that. With the McCree and the May to stop the Wrecking Ball, they had the hit scan for the Echo, just out-executed by...
Pander with an early pick on the power point. My words are failing me, Kirby. Reflex with the whole hug here. Pushing VX Hunter off the point. Hunter tries to come back on, but a nice hook, preventing the pin from actually going through. Grab Dragon's coming out, but it's not going to find anything due to a good immortality field, and PowerPoint's back, finding a really good Deadeye. Mine's placed on point, but I'm afraid it's a bit too late. Panda gonna opt to leave here with the Storm Arrow. Gonna pop a Sonic Arrow just as they leave. Gonna give away Antipo's positioning.
Yeah, wow, and look at that. White Walker's actually used a lot of ultimates there. The tank line is going to take the opportunity to swap off the double off tank comp. Overall, a lot of swaps. And I like that from White Walkers. You know, that they were probably thinking about switching off on it anyway, but obviously you want to use those ultimates to try and snowball. And they did get a tick for sure, so pretty solid fight, actually, all things considered.
You see the sim in play here. I would assume there's a teleport strat that's going to go through. White Walkers do take the high ground here. Valhalla are just kind of playing back on point. They know they've got two high ground specialists here. Grav coming out, gonna nullify the window here. And a nice pin from Hunter, however, puts himself in Narnia, and White Walkers just turn around and execute on that PowerPoint, getting rid of the mine or the turrets on point. Well, at least two of the three. White Walkers just kind of rushing in here and dismantling the defense from Valhalla. Beant able to touch and stagger out a little bit longer for Brow Daddy to get here on the Wrecking Ball. Just gonna spin to win. A nice pin from Pog, not gonna let them do that anymore. Antipo on the top here on this little bridge, finding one already with the attack visor, able to take out the immortality field as well, and now Brow Daddy with a finishing blow, and we see the shatter come through as well, able to knock Reflex onto the ground, but Antipo just cleaning up here on this point. And they're gonna stagger the baby.
I was gonna say that's all Valhalla needed to do, and Ampo was smart. He trusted his tanks to last long enough on the point so he could get to the high ground, and he took immediate advantage of that. Taking out Panderp right away was so massive, kind of a one character that could contest him except for maybe the Diva, and Reflex did get a decent beat onto some of the attack visor, but it wasn't enough.
We see White Walkers are gonna try this up top rotation again. The Diva's gonna push Antipo, not gonna let them have that high ground advantage they had before, but PowerPoint's gonna back them up and they're gonna get demeched. Reflex already down to Mecha and out of position. The window's been popped on point for Valhalla, and Pog is up top now. Able to find the pick on the PowerPoint. Dragons get popped on point here. Antipo falls. Pog with a shatter on the BX Hunter. Looks like White Walkers might be able to find themselves the completion of Volskaya they've been looking for. PowerPoint able to touch here actually on the Genji. Gets taken out pretty early. The ball's not going to be able to get back to touch in time, and that will be White Walker's completion, but a good point B defense from Valhalla.
It's just unfortunate now PowerPoint couldn't quite get to that blade. That was kind of what Valhalla were hoping for there, to get a good blade off in a chaotic fight, but not quite enough, and just good ult usage from White Walkers. Great sim teleport strat. They're so good at those. Psycho Zordon, obviously, we've already sung his praises on the first map, and he just continues to play incredibly well.
Yeah, right now White Walkers are looking really strong. Valhalla just a couple of pieces away from really contesting White Walkers here. They're doing a really good job at holding them at bay, but when it comes to these prolonged time banks that White Walkers keep managing to give themselves, Valhalla tend to crack a little bit under that. If they can figure out what they need to do to kind of fend off White Walkers a bit sooner so they don't let them get these time banks they've been getting, I think Valhalla might be able to actually hold Volskaya. If they're able to attack fully, they might be able to get the defense they're looking for.
So it'll be interesting. It looks like we might see Dive coming out on the side of Valhalla, a comp that they have been practicing lately. Not PowerPoint though on the Echo. That adds a new dimension to this. Kind of, it's almost like old school Dive except without the Genji and instead the Echo.
We saw them try Dive on Sanctum and it looked pretty good for them. Pog was able to dismantle it with the Soldier though, but Pog will not be on the Soldier this time.
And this time it
leaps
might be a little
trying
bit
to get the
easier
tail.
too. But might be a little bit easier because White Walkers don't have the Zen.
Panderp though are gonna, as a counter to Echo, gonna make it really hard for Panderp to PowerPoint to go in and just get the value they want for free. However, that being said, PowerPoint did get rezzed up and gets a pick on the Psycho Zordon. If PowerPoint can get out here, does get a DMEC as well, actually. That's pretty good for Valhalla to recontest with. Brow Daddy gonna try and get a pick on it. Not quite gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure for Brow Daddy there why he did what he did. I think he should have hung around and waited for the rest of Valhalla to get through the choke and then maybe chosen to dive on someone in the backlines. Instead, he just kind of did it at a weird time.
Valkyrie coming out
so
here
low.
Valhalla are kind of all over the place here, but not like White Walkers were doing in their attack. It seems like Hunter, like, I don't know, it's almost like Hunter's not coordinating dives with their team, and therefore it's resulting in a Monkey being in good places, but not great times, because the Monkey would want to have like 3 members of their team with them.
And it's unfortunate because the BX Hunter is probably their best Zen as well, so not that B-Ant is bad or anything, but when you see Valhalla typically play dive, they have Brow Daddy on Diva and Ravioli staying on Wrecking Ball, BX Hunter on the Zen, and that's when they look at their best. I think there's just some synergy there with BX Hunter, Ravioli staying on Brow Daddy.
This fight's going to be an ult party. There are about 11 ults to be used in this fight right now, and we've already seen several. The bomb coming out from Reflex, only able to find the Echo dupe. Now Brow Daddy's comes out, able to find the D-Mech on the Reflex, not gonna let them have that. And Antipo able to get the bomb, but a shatter comes out from Pog, laying down Antipo and Brow Daddy. Brow Daddy gonna get D-Mech, but PowerPoint able to find the Echo finishing beam there. The trades are really back and forth right now. The support of Ziptail here, trying to keep White Walkers healthy. Only the tanks left for Valhalla. And now a res going through on the Pander. What looked like could have been a spawn advantage retake, now kind of gone for Valhalla.
Look at this, they're staggering the Diva too. This is not looking good for Valhalla. Only a minute left, and that was their ultimate fight. And even for White Walkers, they've almost got a Photon Barrier online. Ziptail almost built another Valkyrie there. It's gonna take maybe a miracle for Valhalla to stay in this game.
On the bright side for them, minus the Photon Barrier, they're looking at a pretty neutral fight. If Psycho Zordon goes down early here, but that's not going to be Psycho Zordon going down early. PowerPoint falls to the turret. Valhalla have a decision to make here, and it's, do they wait for their Widowmaker to come back, or do they just go all in on this? And BX Hunter looks to want to go all in, tries to get the counter pin, but accidentally finds a Panderp instead. Now he's all the way in the back line. The Valkyrie's been popped from Moosh to keep BX Hunter alive, and now Valhalla's following up. White Walkers turned around to try and punish him. They weren't able to do it in time, and now Valhalla were able to get them all their backs returned. Antipo gets laid down by that shatter. White Walkers are coming back from this fight with the res and the final blows. Pog doing a lot of work on this Reinhardt. BX Hunter trying their best. The bomb coming out from Reflex here might finish it. No final blows go through, but Brow Daddy's not able to find their mecha back, and PowerPoint's not able to touch in time. White Walkers will take Volskaya, and therefore the series as well.
Unreal play from Ziptail there. Was solo and antied. Was literally one shot, but did a great job. Popped the Valkyrie, was zipping around, and even used the teleporter to use evasive maneuvers. Ziptail, also one of the best supports in Tier 3. I mean, this White Walkers team is just so stacked that if 3 players are not having the best map, they'll always have 3 other players that can pick up the slack, and that was Ziptail there, staying alive almost that entire time. I don't know if Ziptail died on that defense.
I'm also not sure. I don't think they did. And with that, we'll be going to our 4th and final map of the night, Rialto. Not quite sure what either of these teams will opt for here on this map. Personally, they've shown a lot. White Walkers have played just about everything but double shield, I think, so far tonight.
Yeah, and that is a comp that White Walkers can play. So,
yeah.
So don't think they can't play that one.
Exactly.
And that's another thing that makes them so dangerous, is not just flexibility overall, but just being able to play all of the tank compositions at such a high level. Double shield, brawl, dive, they've got it all. It's just, and that they come up with such great team compositions that I mean, if you have one little thing off about your comp, you know, maybe instead of running an Ana with a ball, you have a BAP, you know, like those little things might cost you because White Walkers have all of their comps planned out really well. They know what each person needs to do. It really is looking more and more like White Walkers are once again the team to beat here in Tier 3, and I don't think I'd get any argument from that. They've been just dominant. I mean, what is this now? They're like 18th map winner in a row now, I want to say.
I have not been tracking their map record, but I would not be surprised if that is the current stat.
I mean, since their first loss to Stardust Crusaders back in Week 1, they've technically only lost 2 maps, except one of them is now in their favor because of the Tantalizers season forfeit. But the only other map they've dropped, they dropped, I believe it was Control against Cosmic Omnix. So, I mean, if that just shows you how dominant they've been since that first game against Stardust Crusaders, I don't know what does.
Right. And the swaps for both teams have come out now. We will see Pog moving to the DPS line. Deer will be back. Pog will be taking the place of Psycho Zordon, and Bleem will be also coming in on the DPS line in place of Panderp. And then we will be seeing Ziptail and Kron stay on the support line. As for Valhalla, we're going to have Rav coming in for Hunter on the tank line. Antipo and Book of Sorrows in on DPS now. And Moosh and Hunter on support.
And I'm gonna be right back.
Okie dokie. Both teams opting for full power here, both running a 58 out of 58 lineup. So, should definitely be a clash for the 4th map. Valhalla might be out of the series, but they still have map differentials. They're going to want to keep relatively well. We've seen map differential come into play, and seeding. They may have their playoff spot locked, but their seed is most certainly not. So they're probably going to want to play a lot of maps, get plenty of map wins, because a team above them could drop a series and fall below them, or they could drop or I guess they have lost this series, but that map differential against White Walkers could potentially keep them above a team below them.
Okay, I am back.
Welcome back.
Wonder how the other game is going. Currently on the 2nd channel, we are seeing Diving Phoenix versus Zancian Tactics.
It sounds like a fantastic game.
They are now on King's Row. Ooh, and it does look like Zancian Tactics have the 1-0 lead over Diving Phoenix. Kind of a big game for Diving Phoenix. A lot of the teams that are right around them in the standings have lost already this week, so a chance if they do get the win to possibly put themselves in a really good position to get that playoff spot that they're kind of looking for. But if they drop a game, that's going to open the door for some of these other teams.
Lots of playoff talk at this point in the season. We have readies from both teams, so we are going to go in. But I was just talking about while you were gone about Valhalla, the importance of their seed and map differential now. They may have their playoff spot clinched, but they do not have like a specific seed clinched. I don't think anybody in the playoffs does right now, so everybody's still going to be wanting to take every single map they can get here.
Yeah, luckily for Valhalla, they do have a very good map differential already. So, yeah, if they could snag this last map, only lose 2 maps, they're still going to be sitting at a plus 13 map differential, would put them exactly tied with Stardust Crusaders. And yeah, that map differential might be the difference between a higher seed and a lower seed. And I do believe we're doing the same thing we did last year, where we're letting the teams in the higher seeds pick their opponents. So, even more so of an advantage to try and get as high of a seed as you possibly can.
Right.
You can pick the opponents that you think you will match up well against, or to avoid the opponents that might be getting pretty hot and might cause an upset.
Exactly. So we see Orisa Hog coming out on the side of White Walkers here, and of course Reflex is going to be looking for this hook into the river right away. Not going to find it though. A good block coming out from Ravioli Stain.
And it is interesting to see Valhalla right now not playing the dive with Ravioli Stain, but Ravioli Stain has shown some really good things on main tank too. Wouldn't be surprised if Ravioli Stain starts coming in to play more tank in this league, and they typically do it on these escort maps, on map 4s.
Good answer.
And I believe they're actually undefeated, so...
Ooh. Ravioli Stain's getting extremely aggro here on this Orisa from Musketeer, which honestly you can kind of get away with on Reinhardt. There's not a whole lot Orisa can do to tell you not to do that, especially when you've got the Zarya. And a huge shatter coming out with the grab and a massive anti to follow up with it, and that will be a team kill on the side of Valhalla.
Wow. That is the definition of an easy team fight. I mean, BX Hunter, what was that, a 5-man anti-nade there? I mean, everyone's still caught in the grab. And here we go, Valhalla.
Hello.
Still showing some life. They want to get at least 1 map win. I do not believe they have been 4-0'd this season yet, so definitely a pride thing on the line.
The Boostio comes out, almost gets booped off the map actually. White Walkers kind of dismantled Valhalla there before they even had a chance to really fight. And Bleem's gonna go on ahead and invest Tech Visor here, tried to get Antipo down in the backline, gonna actually find it too. That's a really rough stagger to eat if you're Valhalla, but a really good stagger if you're White Walkers.
Yeah, I don't know for Ampo. I wonder if they were thinking that Bleem was trying to go aggressive with the Tac Visor, and maybe thought they could one-clip them from behind, but Bleem knew where they were.
There's some really good early fight play coming out from both teams here. They're not really letting, I don't think a serious like 6v6 team fight's actually gotten to happen yet on this map.
Yeah, and look at this. Proud Daddy's still trying to go aggressive after Musketeer has the Graviton Surge ready, and BX Hunter certainly has that index finger on R1 right now, looking to get another big anti-nade.
And Ravioli Stain just takes Ziptail for a ride into their own backline, and the grab comes out as well. And a huge anti! Nobody's gonna get healed up for a moment after that. And the Shatter coming out to prevent any more follow-up from Musketeer. A good play, in my opinion, gonna slow Valhalla down. However, Antipo in the backline here is making up for it. Valhalla not quite out of this just yet, but Reflex able to catch Antipo on the way out. Moosh and Book of Sorrows are kind of out here in Narnia at this point. Book of Sorrows just gonna leap into the drink and reset.
Yeah, and that would have been huge for Valhalla if they could have taken out Ampo, but he had great movement there, causing enough damage to make Book of Sorrows uncomfortable so he couldn't get the headshot, and yeah, Ampo staying alive there was huge.
Shatter coming out from Ravioli Stain gets blocked by Musketeer, I believe. Now the Graviton Surge from White Walkers. A good play, though, from the team to kind of minimize the damage coming in. And Antipo just going crazy on this Tracer in the backline. That is 3 kills to Antipo's name right there.
And great job from Browdaddy. I just want to shout this out. They actually cleansed Ravioli Stain, who got stuck with Pog's Pulse Bomb. Great heads-up play from Browdaddy to save Ravioli Stain there.
And the window coming out really early here on the side of White Walkers, going to prevent early push. And White Walkers with 2 really early picks here. And a nice shatter again from Musketeer. That's going to be cleanup on Valhalla. White Walker's able to stop this cart, but Valhalla have done an impressive job escorting this cart as far as they have with this much time on the bank.
Yeah, but this is definitely a chance for White Walkers to defend. They got a couple ults to their name here, the Sound Barrier as well as the Hainu, and Browdaddy getting close to another Graviton Surge, though they've been absolutely deadly so far in this map. We'll see if he can do it again.
Even with the Deadeye able to find Moosh. And now White Walkers are going to get really aggressive here. Able to clean up most of the kills. Antipo trying to blink out. Not going to give them the team kill horn just yet.
I'm glad Valhalla didn't use any ultimates there. They're coming up for sure on 3. Ravioli Stain will get that shatter very quickly as well. Hopefully they can beat Musketeer to it. That'll be huge. But now here it is, Browdaddy with that Graviton Surge ready. Maybe they're even waiting for Ampo to get the Pulse Bomb online so they can combo those 2 ults.
Musketeer pins into the team. Not able to find anything, though. Almost got Book of Sorrows. However, Valhalla look a little lost in this fight. Maybe trying to figure out exactly where they want to approach White Walkers from.
Definitely hoping to get BX Hunter back here. They might want the Nano onto Ravioli Stain to follow up on the Graviton Surge.
Both Reinhardt's getting insanely aggressive. Musketeer gets punched out of that shatter, but it doesn't matter. White Walkers, the damage was already done, and they're just going to keep pushing forward on their 6 anyway.
And that was not an ideal fight there for Valhalla. I mean, they didn't waste any ults, I guess, but now you're coming up on 4 ultimates here for White Walkers, including the Sound Barrier. Ziptail might be able to use that to stop Browdaddy's grab from getting a lot of value.
There are going to be 10 ultimates available in this coming fight, and because there's only a minute left on the time bank, I expect to see most of them used.
And we'll see that Pog not quite to the
grab. And Nano's been invested as well. Musketeer, though, able to find 2 kills with the pin. Both shatters come out now. Musketeer able to block and then get the counter shatter. And Valhalla are falling really fast here. However, they do not blow all of their ults in one fight.
And now they still have the Graviton Surge, which is good. Now they can choose which one they want to combo it with. But look at Pog up on the high ground, looking for a sneaky stick to close out this map.
Meteor Strike is what they've chosen to combo with it. However, the Immortality Field is going to keep the team healthy. Book of Sorrows trying their best to get the follow-up damage in, gets a kill. However, White Walkers have already found 2 kills of their own. And there's the Pulse Bomb, able to find Moosh, I believe, damaged Browdaddy enough to die to that Fire Strike.
And here we go. Ampo's gonna have to be the hero here. Can he hit a nice Pulse Bomb? That's not good. Ravioli Stain going down.
There's the Pulse Bomb. He stuck Zarya. However, Zarya's bubble. Gleam pops Deadeye. Not gonna find any kills with it. Antipo not able to really aggress. They need cart presence, and now Pog is in their back line harassing. Musketeer is just pushing straight into them. Valhalla half feet off the point. They've been grabbed now. Both tanks are caught in that. White Walkers just have a lot of damage going into this fight, and that might be it here for their defense. It will be. And Valhalla, despite having a stellar A and B, not quite able to finish off C.
Score 0-0.
Still a pretty solid push, though, all things considered. You know, Rialto definitely one of the more defensive-oriented maps in the entire game. I mean, we saw that Pete's Planet versus White Walkers. Neither team played on point C, and I believe in your game last night, Cosmic Omnix got full held on point A as well. So definitely one of the harder maps to attack. We'll see if Valhalla has a good plan to maybe get the full hold here on Rialto and walk out of here with at least one map.
Ready for battle.
They've definitely given themselves plenty of a pretty good opportunity here to get what they need out of this. They got a really good attack. It's really Rialto C is just incredibly hard to close out on. So the fact that they got it to a pretty decent hold spot on C for them on their defense speaks that they have a pretty solid chance of taking at least one map out of this series. They're being a little bit of trouble though. No counters to this aka Pog Farah Ziptail Nurse.
Don't look now, Bleem on the Bastion here. Might be looking for a pirate ship look.
And Valhalla don't even want to opt for the Rhine Roadhog to maybe look for a hook into the river, which I'm not at all against. I think that's totally fine. Pog, though, able to find a pick on the Hunter. That's the main source of healing for Valhalla gone. And a lot of damage left for White Walkers to keep dishing out. Ravioli Saint having a hard time keeping their shield up. Plenty of cracks in that Reinhardt shield. Just gonna press L1 and hope for something. Brow Daddy able to find the pick on the Bleem. A lot of damage now gone for White Walkers, but the res is gonna come out. Bucasaros, however, finding the other half of the DPS line. And now the Ana for Valhalla is back, and that will allow Valhalla to get aggressive again.
Yeah, great stabilization there from Valhalla. Good bubble usage from Brow Daddy to go aggressive on Bleem. Make sure he wasn't taking too much damage and took him out. They did get the res, but that also left Pog pretty wide open as well.
Pog and Bleem just set up in a perfect position and synchronized really well with their damage output there. Able to almost team wipe Valhalla, and we do see Antipo swapping over to the Soldier now to get some consistent counter to the Farah.
We'll see. I don't even know if we're going to be able to see a touch from Valhalla. Yeah, I think they're just going to give this one up.
Kind of have to. We see a swap from Ravioli Stain, no longer on the Reinhardt, has gone over to the Wrecking Ball. Is now no longer in play.
Yeah, and this is the scary part for Valhalla, is now White Walker's starting to snowball it, and they only had to use Barrage there to keep this payload moving. They still got 3 ults to their name. We're gonna need someone to come up with a play for Valhalla. Maybe Bucasaro's using the dragons to possibly displace the Bastion off the point.
Bleem's gonna pop this tank configuration at the top of the stairs. Antipo gets a bubble. It's expired though, and they will fall because of it now. White Walkers are just kind of pushing cart. Relatively uncontested. Valhalla are not playing a composition that are like. Yes, they have counters to the things on White Walker's team, but they have close to no team synergy of their own. They're going to be playing for Grav Dragons, I guess, here.
And I do like some of the swaps that they're making to try and counter the Bastion. I like the Zen to get the Discord Orb, and I like Ravioli Stain swapping onto the Diva for, you know, to use a defense matrix, but still, Bleem actually taking the off angles, doing a good job at being unpredictable.
Musketeer's gonna fall early here. Pog looking for a hook, not Pog, aka Reflex looking for a hook, not quite finding it. Bucasaro's gonna toss in the dragons now. Gravitic Flux used, finds Brow Daddy. Dragons do manage to find Crown Goblin. Musketeer getting aggro on the cart here, using the the Eat to stay alive. A lot of ults being invested here. White Walker's not actually ending up like losing this fight here. Bokasaru slowly backing off. Brow Daddy's made their way back to the point. The Pharah staying just out of her reach though. Now the window comes out. This is a really dangerous situation for White Walkers, and they've lost their their Mercy now. Transcendence coming out, but 2 members of the team are already gone. Ravioli Stain trying to pick off this Roadhog, not quite finding the finishing blow, but Brow Daddy and Bokasaru is finding picks of their own. White Walkers answer back with 2 of their own though. The respawn advantage will start favoring Valhalla if they cannot clean this fight up quick enough. And Moosh able to res VX Hunter on the Zen. Pog answers though by killing Brow Daddy. It's stalemating a bit too long though. It looks like White Walkers are going to have to eventually opt to leave this fight. But Ravioli's thing gets hooked in. Gonna use the bomb just to re-mech here. Hides just well enough to not get hooked back into the team immediately, but does anyway. Ravioli Stain's back in White Walkers. And Bleem with a huge flashbang there. Kind of sets that barrage up. They stop it, but I think the damage is done here. Only 2 members of Valhalla left standing between White Walkers and the box of victory, and they both fall. And White Walkers will be taking Rialto as well with a 4-0 on the series.
And Pog, like, just didn't die there. Like, on point A, I think they died once. I don't think they died a second time. They were just unreal, causing so much damage, forcing constant retreats from Valhalla, which causes the payload to just move at a flying pace. I mean, what did White Walkers win? Only like 3 team fights there? That's what putting all that pressure on a tank line with a great Bastion and Pharah comp will do. And White Walkers making another statement here. Another 4-0, and maybe the strongest team that they've 4-0'd since they 4-0'd Prodigy Noobs back in, I believe it was week 5.
Yeah. We will call upon the teams for their MVP nominations.
Man, which one are we gonna do for DPS MVP? Everyone on White Walkers was playing so well tonight.
Yeah. DPS MVP is always a pain. There's a lot of good DPS players in Oasis, not just tier 3. I don't know. It's like Bleem did really well. There's even like Valhalla PowerPoint did a lot to keep Valhalla in fights and give them opportunities to win, even when they probably shouldn't have had opportunities to win. I believe. Ravioli Stain has given us MVP noms are the AKA duo, so Reflex and Pog.
I was gonna say Reflex was actually playing really well there on tank, playing that Zarya and the Roadhog, getting so many picks on the. They were playing Roadhog, right, on Rialto, or is that?
Which one? Pog? That was Reflex. I got that confused too.
Oh yes, sorry, I meant on Volskaya. What
on
did
Volskaya,
Pog
that
play?
Was Pog. Reflex was
okay.
on the, I believe, Wrecking Ball.
Wrecking Ball, yeah. So yeah, Reflex playing really well. Yeah, I feel like Pog might have snagged it there with that last map. That was a pretty impressive showcase.
Yeah, I could get behind that, definitely. Reflex asking Ziptail to change their name to AKA Ziptail so they can have an AKA MVP sweep.
Even for support MVP, it's kind of tough. Like, the obvious choice would be to choose Ziptail. Another great performance from Ziptail. But I gotta be honest, I think Kron Goblin also stepped up tonight in a big way, playing a great Baptiste, great Immortality Fields, great Amplification Matrixes. It's seemingly getting away with so much healing, especially on the defenses here for White Walkers. I don't know, I think Kron Goblin actually did impress me quite a bit.
I was going to bring up Kron Goblin actually as the support I had my eye on for the MVP for tonight, so I'm not going to argue with you on that. We still have not received White Walker noms.
What's crazy about this win, too, for White Walkers is that they were even without Richard, who's been arguably their best tank player this season. If they're winning this dominant without their best main tank, not saying that Musketeer didn't play well, because he certainly did, but Richard has also been one of the best main tanks this season, and to win in such dominant fashion without him, I mean, yeah, it's just looking like White Walkers are...
So, White Walkers have nominated PowerPoint and Brow Daddy. And I think both of those are very valid arguments to bring up. I mentioned before PowerPoint, specifically for DPS, I thought was very strong tonight, but I do think Pog should probably get that personally.
Mm-hmm. For me, I am feeling a White Walkers sweep here.
My tank, I feel like it'd be a crime not to give it to Deer tonight.
I know, that's the other thing. You know, they nominated Reflex, and he did do an excellent job as well. But man, Musketeer really doing a good job on that main tank, stepping up for Richard while he is unavailable for this game. I mean, I think for me, I'm looking at Pog, Musketeer, and Kron Goblin for MVPs.
I wouldn't argue with that at all, honestly. I think that's a really solid MVP lineup.
I just don't... Maybe besides PowerPoint for Valhalla, I just don't think there was a true standout performance tonight. And even then, like, you have to contend with White Walkers on DPS who have just been excellent. I mean, it almost feels like the best three players in this match were all White Walkers DPS.
Yeah.
Pog, Bleem, and Panderp. And even, you could argue the fourth best player in this series was Psycho Zordon. Like, White Walkers are so good on DPS. Like, it's just... It's gonna be tough to be able to go up against that constant firepower. But yeah, if there's no more arguments, and if chat, I don't know what chat is saying in terms of the MVPs, but yeah, if you're good with Deer, Pog, and Kron Goblin, then I think that should be it.
I believe it is. And I have no other comments to make about the series. Do you, Kirby?
Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this stream. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Make sure to check out on the second channel, see the conclusion of Diving Phoenix vs. Ascension Tactics. I do believe they're on, if they're not on map 3 yet, they're about to start it, I think. So, make sure to watch the conclusion of that. We still got one more game this week. That will be whenever Prodigy Noobs vs. Tater Tots gets scheduled. So, keep on the lookout for that. We're really getting into the nitty-gritty, folks. We're almost done with the regular season. Can you believe it?
Alright. Well, that has been it for tonight. I would like to thank everybody myself for watching this series. It was a blast casting it. Thank you, Kirby, for joining me on this wonderful cast.
My pleasure.
Basically what Kirby said. Go check out the other game on the second channel. I'm sure that's a great series as well. But that'll be it for tonight over here. Thank you again, and have a wonderful evening, guys.